Good morning and welcome to a regular meeting of the panel of utility commissioners and staff of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority held today, Wednesday, March 9th at 10 a.m. by remote teleconference. My name is Chairman Marissa Gillette and I'm joined virtually today by my colleagues, the Vice Chairman Jack Pekoski and Commissioner Michael Karen. We have a regular calendar and a consent calendar in front of us this morning, so we will turn first to our regular calendar. The first item on today's regular calendar is docket number 080914 REO2, the application of Discount Power Inc. for an electric supplier license. This reopener was specific to an investigation into the marketing practices of Discount Power, for which the authority issued a notice of violation. So I will present the final NOV for the authority's consideration, at which time we will seek a motion and move to a vote. So pursuant to section 16-41, 16-245, 16-245O, and 16-245U of the General Statutes of Connecticut, the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority finds that Discount Power Inc., Discount, also known as Discounter the company, violated statutes 16-245 and several subsections. Specifically, the violations occurred by not properly training and monitoring the company's agents, implying marketing calls were from the electric distribution company, not clearly explaining the purposes of the solicitation by using undefined terms such as price protection and benefits, failing to correctly explain rates, failing to state and misrepresenting the standard service rate, implying a customer must choose a supplier, conducting improper third-party verifications, and employing unfair and deceptive marketing practices, including but not limited to the violations listed above and described throughout the authority's notice of violation. Consequently, the authority fines a discount $2 million, suspends the company's electric supplier license for 3 years, and orders the company to pay restitution to all customers enrolled in 2018 and 2019 for all amounts that were paid that were in excess of the standard service rate. In the event Discount's license is reinstated after the 3-year suspension ordered herein, the authority will continue to monitor Discount's marketing actions for 2 years after Discount's license is reinstated and the company has resumed marketing. With that, I would recommend today's final notice of violation to the authority for adoption.
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
Second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there questions or comments? Seeing none, I would ask Mr. Bumpin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pekoski?
Yes.
Commissioner Karen?
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We'll turn next to the second item on today's regular calendar, docket number 220117, the application of MCI Metro Access Transmission Services, LLC, the customer migration and exit plan. We'll turn to Mr. Skarzinski for a presentation of the decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Thank you, Chairman Gillette, and good morning, commissioners. On January 21st, 2022, the company MCI Metro Access Transmission Services, LLC, submitted an exit plan and requested for approval from the authority to discontinue on or after April 30th, 2022, the provision of its regulated business line services for approximately 136 Connecticut business customers. In addition, because the discontinuance is part of a national effort by the company, they also requested that the 90-day notification to the authority be waived. 1 second here. Can you still hear me okay? I'm having some video problems and I apologize.
I thought Mr. Skarzinski was in a Batman movie there for a minute.
Okay. Business line services is a single analog circuit for business voice customers, and the company explained that in recent years, this service demand has declined significantly as the communication markets continue to migrate rapidly to internet protocol and other modern solutions that offer greater flexibility, reliability, and are more suitable for next generation applications. On November 30th, 2021, it discontinued offering this service to new customers, in effect grandfathering it so that it just existing customers in place could continue. But let's be clear, MCI Metro is not exiting the Connecticut market in entirety. The company will remain active in Connecticut, providing other services to business customers. In considering the company's request, the authority relied on its April 2nd, 2003 decision in docket 01-1210, which is a DPC investigation into the discontinuation of telecommunications services by certified telecommunications service providers, or the exit plan decision. And in this decision, the authority established a customer transition process for certified local exchange carriers provisioning local exchange service when they decide to exit the Connecticut market. And the decision included migration guidelines that address specific requirements for exiting CLECs to follow to ensure that telecommunications customers were notified in advance of any service discontinuance and given ample time to transition their service to an alternative service provider. I will not go through the entire list of requirements which are addressed in the decision, but we'll focus on the customer notification aspect in this summary, which is really the most important issue because ideally, we, as well as the company, want to avoid any affected customers from having their services disrupted or interrupted. I would first like to mention that in terms of notification, the company began sending monthly bill messages beginning each month in September 2021 and will continue to do so through April 2022. So one of the requirements in the migration guidelines is a sample letter to be sent to its customers, and the company provided that in its request. The sample letter was issued around February 28th. It included the names and contact information for its program manager, cutover coordinator, and regulatory manager in accordance with the migration guidelines. In addition, it also stated that the sales representatives assigned to impacted business customers will reach out to customers to assist with this transition. The company also stated that any affected customers who have not selected a new carrier after receiving the initial notification letter will be sent a final notice of discontinuation. The other important point is they were clear on the proposed cutoff date, which they must select an alternative service either from an MCI Metro affiliate or an alternative service provider by April 30th, 2022. And on February 24th, the authority issued its proposed final decision, and notice of written exceptions. There were no written exceptions filed. The authority finds that the proposed exit plan for its discontinuation of its regulated business line services and proposed transition of customers is consistent with the notification and technical requirements of the authority's migration guidelines. The authority will monitor the implementation of the exit plan and will require the company to file a status report no later than March 31st, 2022. In addition, given that the company notified the authority in January of 2022, so the 90-day PURA notification requirement waiver is a reasonable request and should be waived. I recommend the decision to the panel for adoption, and thank you.
Mr. Skrzynski, is there a motion?
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
And second.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, I ask Mr. Gunklin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
The decision has been adopted. We'll turn to the third item on the regular calendar, docket number 220120, the assessment of a civil penalty against the Connecticut Natural Gas Corporation for pipeline safety violations. And Mr. Dan Tomasino is with us this morning from the authority's gas pipeline safety unit, and I'll ask him to present the decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
In docket 220120, the Gas Pipeline Safety Unit is recommending a civil penalty in the amount of $94,600 for pipeline safety violations. On August 4th, 2021, an inspector from the Gas Pipeline Safety Unit, or GPSU for short, responded to a notification of blowing gas in Berlin. When the inspector arrived, the blowing gas had been stopped by a Connecticut Natural Gas Street Department crew by squeezing off a 2-inch plastic main. This main had a puncture in it, and it was theorized that the puncture occurred by rock impingement, as this was an older vintage plastic main and was not backfilled with sand. This type of plastic main is known to become brittle with age, so the inspector asked if the crew there had, if there had been any other leaks in this area. One crew member stated that there was one recently due to rock impingement, and it was repaired with a mechanical leak repair clamp. This concerned the inspector because CNG does not allow leak repair clamps on plastic pipe as a permanent repair method. The crew began searching through records and found that a mechanical leak repair clamp was installed on plastic nearby on October 27, 2020, but they did not find a record of the permanent repair. The crew immediately began to excavate to verify and found the clamp still installed on the plastic pipe. CNG's written procedures specify that a mechanical leak repair clamp can be used to repair a leak, but it must not be backfilled. It must be leak surveyed on a weekly basis, and it must be replaced with a permanent repair within 30 days of installation. Since all three of these provisions were not met in this instance, CNG failed to follow its written procedures. This is a violation of 49 CFR 192.605 parens A. Should be noted that the GPSU performed a comprehensive operations and maintenance audit of CNG, where CNG was asked if they had installed any mechanical leak repair clamps on plastic pipe in 2019 or 2020. They responded that they did not install any in that time period. CNG appears to have an issue with record keeping, as well as reviewing paperwork from the field and identifying compliance issues. As such, CNG is ordered in this decision to review the feasibility of having an outside independent party review all of their documentation coming in from the field. It is also noted that CNG has had issues in the past with mechanical leak repair clamps installed on plastic pipe. In 2014, the GPSU became aware that the natural gas distribution companies in Connecticut may have used mechanical leak repair clamps as a permanent repair in the past. As a result, the GPSU directed all the companies to find and remove existing clamps and refrain from installing any until they had procedures in place to do so. CNG subsequently installed 2 additional clamps on plastic before having written said procedure and was issued a civil penalty in docket 150304. An additional leak repair clamp was installed on plastic and was discovered in East Hartford on September 4th, 2021 by a CNG markout technician with great situational awareness. This clamp was excavated and replaced with a permanent repair immediately. Records show that it was installed in 2003 and should have been removed per the GPSU directive in 2014. Since it was not, and it was installed prior to any procedures being in place for such an installation, CNG is again in violation of 49 CFR 192.605 parens A. For these violations, the GPSU is recommending to the commissioners a civil penalty of $94,600, of which $84,600 is attributed to the mechanical leak repair clamp installed in Berlin, and $10,000 for the clamp installed in East Hartford.
Thank you, Mr. Tomasino. So the decision has been recommended to the panel. So seek a motion.
Adoption, Madam Chairman.
Second, Madam Chairman, and a question. So, Mr. Tomasino, based on your on GPSU's findings, and thank you for such a meticulous review, any thoughts about having a more comprehensive audit of processes and possible further violations of the company?
Do you mean in terms of the leak repair clamps?
Yes.
Yeah, we are currently working on that. CNG has performed a comprehensive review and hasn't found any additional, but their parent company, Southern Connecticut Gas, is currently going through their records. They've identified 6 potential locations, and once the weather gets a little better, makes it a little bit more conducive to replacing those, because they do need to be cut out, and then gas flow sometimes needs to be stopped. So
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
you're welcome.
you. Any further questions or comments? Okay, with that, I will ask Mr. Bumpin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes,
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. That completes our regular calendar. We'll turn to our consent calendar. There are 10 items on today's consent calendar. Is there a motion, please?
Madam Chairman, I move today's consent calendar items 1 through 10.
I'll second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been regularly moved and seconded. I would seek the roll, please.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes,
Thank you. Today's consent calendar has been adopted in full. That brings us to the end of the agenda for today's regular meeting. We will adjourn and reconvene next Wednesday, March 16th at 10 a.m. by remote teleconference. With that, we are adjourned and wish everyone a good rest of the day. Thank you.